Okay, in this video I'm going to show how to take a rubric system and archive data out to Amazon S3. And it's going to be a two-step process. We'll start the first step by creating the necessary user and encryption keys in AWS. So to do so, I'm going to start by creating a user. I'm going to come to the dashboard here, go into IAM, and I'm going to create a new user. I'm going to add the user and we'll call it rubrik P1 Labs. Now this user will require programmatic access and not console access, obviously, as this is coming from an appliance and not something or not a user that will need to interact with an AWS console. I don't have a specific group that has the necessary policy attached to it, so I'm just going to attach a policy directly to this user, and I'm going to find that policy, or first I'm going to click on attach policies, and I'm going to find that policy by typing S3 full, and that brings up the pre-canned AWS policy that will be required so that the user can create buckets and read and write data into S3. Once I click next, I have the option to create the user, and by default an access key is created for that user. So I will download that access key and we'll use that in a later step. Now the next step I have to take is to create an encryption key, and I can do so using AWS's KMS. It's key management service. So I'm going to go back to the console home. I'm going to click on IAM and select encryption keys. And I'm actually going to want to create a key in the region that I want to put the bucket, which in my case is going to be Northern California. So I'll go and create the key. And I'll use rubrik P1 Labs again. Key to encrypt data from rubrik to S3. And I'm using KMS, as you can see here. I won't add a tag to it, and this basically states, which administrative users can have access to this key from an administration perspective. So to delete the key, let's say. So I'm going to select the administrators that I want to have that access, and then this states which users can actually use the key. And in this case, it's going to be the rubrik P1 Labs user account that I just created. It shows us what the policy actually looks like, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. So there's my key, and I'll be using this key ID in a later step. So that's the first part of it, the AWS piece. We created both an AWS encryption key as well as a user with access keys that we'll plug in the next step.